Hey everybody, welcome to the Coach Howard Basketball Show, and I am so excited to be here on another Sunday to bring high school basketball my way, my opinion, to you. I have to tell you, our All Ohio Showcase was such a big success. It was great at both locations. I didn't quite get an opportunity to make it over to our Livingston campus, but from what I heard, great basketball. And I'm going to touch on it today. I'm also going to touch on a couple of very important key points to hard work, dedication, practice, and paying attention to detail. I'm going to touch on those at the end of my show. Coming up on today's show, I've got Coach Andy Moore from Reynoldsburg, who I thought, to be as young as they are, put on a valiant effort yesterday. I'm going to talk to Tihon Johnson, the coach of Northland High School Vikings, about his young team, his young superstar, and some other things as well. But I want to kick off my show today talking about a young man who's a freshman out of Pickerington North High School, J.R. Bates. He can't be no more than 5'6", but let me tell you, his heart is that of a lion. Yesterday, his dad, Coach Bates at Pick North, put him in early, which I was kind of surprised myself. But he didn't disappoint. He played a great floor game. He shot the ball well, handled the ball well, distributed the ball well, and he finished the day with 19 points. That's right, 19 points coming from a 5'6" freshman, which really surprised me. But I was so proud to see the way that he played. And he played like he was a junior or a senior. He didn't play like a freshman. And I was very proud of him and very excited to see that. Of course, he's been raised up in a basketball family. His dad, Coach Bates, is a legend and a GOAT out of Toledo, Ohio, one of the top high school coaches to ever come out of the state. His uncle is Coach Mike Bates at Afrocentric, and of course his dad is Coach Jason Bates from Pick North. So he's come from a basketball family, grew up in the gym. I've been watching him since he was little, and he's got the heart of a lion. So that's the person I wanted to open up my show with today because I felt like he deserved it, and he played his tail off yesterday. So if you get a chance, keep your eye on Pickerington North, who, by the way, is about to enter my top 10. They don't have a big team. They've got a team full of tough, ferocious guards. They can all play. They've got a couple of guys that are maybe about 6'4" that are just tough. Bates has another tough team, such as he had last year, this year, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to contend for a conference title and could make some noise in the tournament. I kind of heard it from a couple of people that I didn't have them in my top 10, but that's okay. I believe that they'll be there next week when I unveil my new top 10 in Central Ohio. Let's get to some of the scores from yesterday. Dayton Wayne beat Akron Buchtel 77-67, and these are scores that you all have probably already seen. Centennial, what a great come-from-behind victory over Whitehall. Hey, Coach Williams has those guys playing out of Centennial. Those guys stuck together. They were down in the first half. They rallied back. They stuck together, scored when they needed to, defended when they needed to, and they got to victory 60-58 over Whitehall. Groveport got a good win. They played well together. This is a team that a lot of you need to keep your eye on because they played tough yesterday. And that guy, coach over there, has a good team in Groveport as they beat Independence 62-43. Dayton Dunbar came down from Dayton, Ohio. They've always got tough talent down in Dayton, Ohio. They beat a young, scrappy Northland team 63-57. And Coach Tihon Johnson has those guys playing. And this is going to be a good year, I believe, for Northland High School. Columbus South played over at the other school, played well. They beat New Albany 56-47. Pickerington North beat CVCA 66-47. But CVCA was without the number 2 sophomore in the country, Darren Peterson. Grove City, watch out from Grove City. They played over at the other location, but there was a lot of people calling me and talking to me about Grove City and said Grove City is tough. They've got a big guy, 6'7", that's really hard to handle. They've got guards. They play great defense. Keep your eyes on Grove City. I am, as they beat Youngstown Cheney 68-47. Northside Christian won 50-48 over International High School. Flight Academy, one of our former players, his prep school from Dayton, Ohio, beat the number 1 Division III team in the state, Cincinnati Taft, 65-55. Reynoldsburg, who Coach Moore is about to come up in a few minutes, they lost one. The score doesn't really indicate the closeness of this game. To St. Vincent St. Mary, Drew Joyce's team once again came in. They're nice all the way across the board. Real nice point guard. They've got a big guy. They've kind of got it all. Moving up to Division I, it's going to be really good to see what they can do this year. Moving up to Division I, playing against different competition, which they do anyway every year. They beat Reynoldsburg 63-50. Lutheran East beat Afrocentric 71-60. TJ Crumbles, the 6'8", one of the top 1 or 2 freshmen in the state, had 17. Cody Head had 30 points for Lutheran East, and Jesse had 16, who's being highly recruited right now. They beat Afrocentric 71-60. Keep your eyes on Lutheran East. They're one of the top programs in the state, and you can also see them at the Play-by-Play Classic in Columbus at Nationwide Arena on December the 17th, along with, you can also see CVCA. They're going to be there. Darren Peterson is going to be there. But I've got to talk about this game right here. The number 1 team in the state lost to Spire Academy out of Cleveland, Ohio, 78-51. Now, Spire Academy is a prep school. They've got 5 Division I players. But the player of the night to me, he came back home. He went to Westerville Central. He's from Westerville, Ohio. Donovan Hunter. And let me tell you, did he come to play? I told him, I said, listen, are you ready to play? I put you up there all week, and I talked about you all week because I wanted to put that pressure on you. And I asked him before the game, are you ready? He said, I'm ready to go, coach. But he did not disappoint. Donovan Hunter had 18 points, and I was so happy with the way that he played. He scored from inside, outside. He was phenomenal last night. He handled the ball well. The pressure didn't bother him at all. He came back to Columbus, and he showed people in Columbus why he was a Division I recruit at Kent State. And I think Kent State is getting a very, very good player that's going to be able to go in and play right away. I was so proud of him, a kid that I've been knowing for a long time. I'm so proud the way that he came in. He handled the pressure. I think his dad was more nervous than he was, but I think the way he came in and handled that pressure, he did a hell of a job. And I'm so proud of him. And we wish him good luck. Yesterday after the game, I made it a point to interview Donovan Hunter, just to talk about the game and talk about, was he nervous before the game started? And here's kind of what he had to say. Donovan, great game, man. You come home in front of your crowd, you get the job done, and you had a hell of a game. How did you feel coming home to this?
It felt good. It just felt good being back home. I loved it. It was a great energy. A lot of people came out to show love. It wasn't dead. I love that. And it was just great. Like, I loved it. I love being home type shit.
I pumped you up all week now, and you came home and you didn't disappoint. Are you excited that you came home and was able to do your job?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. This season's going to be a big season. We're going to be really good, as you see. We just beat the best team in the state, which we the best team in the state, by the way. And, yeah, it's going to be a great season.
Good. Thank you very much, man. And I got a chance after that good interview with Donovan. As you could tell, he was excited. He knew he had played a great game. And I got a chance to talk with his coach, too, about coming here to Columbus and playing in front of a hostile crowd and bringing Donovan back and the way he played yesterday. And here's what he had to say.
Coach, hey, you came in here today, man. I know it was exciting for you, and you came in, and your team really looked good. I know you said they was trying to find their way, but they look good tonight. What happened between last week and tonight?
Well, we had heart-to-heart talk. When we defend, we're really good, but when we start messing around, we're an average team. And we knew Pickerton, defending state champs, they're going to be tough. And we caught them early. It's early. We've played like 4 or 5 games. This is their first game. They're a lot better team than that. They're going to be ready for make a run, another state run. And if we play them later in the year, it'd be a totally different game.
Well, you just came in and beat them, the number 1 team in the state. Was your guys pepped up for this game?
Yeah, we were, because we don't get a lot of games with the better Ohio teams. So it's just an opportunity to be like, we're one of the top teams in the state. And I kept telling the guys, if you want to say you're one of the best teams in the state, you got to beat the best team in the state, or one of the best teams in the state. So it was just a good opportunity.
What did you do for Donovan Hunter? You knew he was coming in here to his hometown. Did you talk to him or say anything to him, or you just let him play?
I just let him play, because we scrimmaged Huntington Prep earlier in the year down here in Columbus, and he had some people at the game, so that was like just a warm up for him. So he was used to. I got used to coming down here and playing. So he played well, and he didn't try to do too much. That was the biggest thing. Don't try to do too much. You got teammates that'll help you.
Thank you, Coach. You're number 1 team in the state, big time. All right, Coach.
Yes, that was a great interview, and it was really nice just watching him come home. And I really wanted. I told my wife yesterday. I said I want to see Donovan come home and just play well in front of the home crowd, and he did. I'm very proud of him, and I'm very excited that he had the opportunity to come home and play in front of the home crowd and in front of his mom and dad, and just play well and show Columbus that they have something to look forward to with him over at Kent State. On the other hand, when you talk about the number 1 team supposedly in the state, I have to be honest. I promised everybody I would be candid and be honest about my show, and that's what I'm going to do. They did not look like the number 1 team in the state yesterday. They did not come out ready to play. No intensity, no effort to me, and I was just very, very disappointed, as was everybody in the crowd. And how I know this is because so many people came up to me yesterday speaking about this Pickerington Central basketball team. They just didn't come out ready to play. Whose fault is that? I don't know. But what I will tell you is this. I will tell you that this was your first game of the year. Throw away state champions, because that's over with. It's time for a new season. It's time for you to move forward. And it's time to focus and get ready for what lies ahead for you. They have a great non-conference schedule. They have a good schedule. And I do believe that at the end that they'll be there in the regional championship. I believe that they will regroup. They will come together as a team. But in order to do that, you have to be focused. You have to practice hard. You have to pay attention to detail. And you have to mentally, every day that you go to practice, that you want to get better and you want to prepare for the games that's coming ahead. You have to listen to your coaches and all the above. So I do believe that they will be prepared. I do believe that you will see the number 1 team in the state step up and show everybody that they are the number 1 team in the state, because I don't believe that they liked what happened yesterday, and I do believe that they're going to bounce back. It was a great day of basketball at the All-Ohio Showcase. We've been doing this for a long time, and yesterday with a packed house, a packed house, standing room only everywhere, I was very, very happy about it, and Jerry was very excited as well. And I want to thank everybody that came out. We had no problems at all. It was a great event. Everybody had a good time. And I want to thank everyone for that. But I also want to speak about a 6'5" freshman from Reynoldsburg High School, as we're waiting on his coach to come on now, Coach Andy Moore. He played phenomenal. He played phenomenal. Jordy played like he was a junior. He wasn't rattled. He rebounded the basketball. He played defense on a 6'8" kid, 6'9" kid, and did a great job. He didn't really surprise me. What did surprise me, though, was that he never stopped. He kept going and going and going. And it was really glad to see that. He's an all-Ohio kid, and I told you after the game I was so happy for him. There was another freshman for Pickerington Central, Xavier McKinney, that came in, didn't play a whole lot, but he played solid while he was there. I think this freshman class in Central Ohio is going to be a pretty good freshman class. And I think that the more that you watch them, I think you'll be impressed with them. So I want to give my hats off to those freshmen. Keep working, don't stop, and just make sure that you continue to learn and stay in the gym. And we'll be right back after this message.
I'm Mike Robinson, Director of City Heights Volleyball Club. City Heights' mission as a nonprofit 501c3 is to utilize competitive volleyball at a low cost as an alternative to common inner city sports. City Heights has served Columbus, Ohio and its inner city schools for over 3 years. Due to demand, City Heights has expanded to becoming an in-house volleyball club, forming teams, holding in-house exhibitions, staying loyal to assisting players at a low cost while developing their beginning to mid-level volleyball skills. My experience that I'm bringing to City Heights is 10 years of coaching on multiple levels, from middle school to college. Our City Heights coaches focus on helping players reach their full volleyball potential, allowing these players to see past their sight to reach their vision. City Heights plans to become a staple in the community through youth sports, building relationships with other volleyball clubs, community and recreation centers within Central Ohio. Players that are interested in joining City Heights can contact us for more information at www.cityheights.club or personally contact me, Coach Mike, at 614-353-0147. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Hey, welcome back. Our next guest is a coach that I've been knowing for quite a long time. He coached in the college level for 20 plus years, and when he got the opportunity here in Columbus, he jumped on it, and he's the head coach of the Reynoldsburg High School Raiders, Coach Andy Moore. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing good, George. I appreciate you having me on. I heard your comments before about the kind of day it was yesterday, and I 100% agree. It's actually the first time, we've gone to that event. I've been there for one game, we've played, and I've gone home. So that's the first time that I've been there for the whole thing throughout the course of the day, and it was a fantastic event. I think a great day for Central Ohio basketball.
I appreciate it very much, and even for you guys allowing us to use your facility. Andy, I got to ask you before we get started, what made you decide to, when you had the opportunity or heard about it opening up, had you been thinking about it already, or what made you decide to come back to Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah, George, it was, when we were leaving the Air Force Academy, it was during the COVID. And, I sat down, had a long talk with my wife and my kids, and I really enjoyed college coaching, but my kids were young, and they're still young, and I missed a lot of things of theirs, whether it was basketball, football, t-ball, whatever it was. I missed an awful lot of things of theirs growing up. And so we talked about a possible change. I didn't want to get out of coaching. My wife's from Pennsylvania, so just kind of thought, what what might work out if we could get back closer to home, something that we would both enjoy. And my wife's a teacher as well. So when I saw this opportunity, I looked into it, found out I was going to have a chance to interview. And, before I did that, though, I wanted to make sure with my wife and the family that if this works out, are we going to pick up and move back across country? And they were all for it. My wife's a teacher here at one of the elementary schools, and so I would say at the beginning, as much as anything, family reasons. Our kids now get to see their grandparents a whole lot more, and we're a lot closer to friends here that I had growing up. So those were the reasons. That was the reason to start, and I think we've made a great decision because it's been a great transition for us.
Coach, well, what you've done with Reynoldsburg since you've gotten there is just fantastic. I mean, you came in last year, you played your young guys, which a lot of coaches are kind of afraid to do that, but you did that. You played your two who were freshmen last year, who are sophomores this year. Not only that, but you came in and you got a group of guys to buy into what you wanted to do. And everyone saw it, the way you played hard, your guys played hard for you. Coach, big game yesterday. You go up against Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. Can you talk about your team yesterday and how they reacted to that game? Were they nervous? Did you have to say anything to them to get them ready to play going up against Drew George, which is a legend, a Hall of Fame coach?
Not really. I didn't feel a lot of nerves. I felt a lot more, not a lot more, but I certainly felt the energy in that locker room before tip off. And, we talked to him too about, hey, emotion is only going to take you so far in this game. And it's a great environment. It's a packed house. There's, 23, there's 2,300 people in there, whatever that place holds. But at the end of the day, the team who executes is going to be the team that's successful. So, I didn't feel any nerves, and as you just said, I was really happy with how we competed, how we executed, not so much, but I never felt like our guys were afraid of the moment or intimidated by who we were playing. So I was really happy with that. I thought, this past summer we got away from our identity a little bit in the month of June. I don't think we played hard. I don't think we competed, and so we talked about that a lot in the fall and in the winter leading up to our first game. And I felt like we got our identity back. I know you said a few minutes ago you thought, we've played really hard and competed. And I think so as well. And I was a little nervous about that, to be honest with you, because again, we lost that over the summer. But, still with young guys, Jordy being a freshman, Jordan and Toby being sophomores, never being in that situation before, I was really happy with how they competed.
Coach, I'm going to tell you, I was impressed. I was very impressed by the way they competed. I love your point guard. Played for you last year. He
Yeah.
pushed it. The one thing that I like about the Reynoldsburg Raiders is they push that rock, man. You've got them pushing that ball down the floor. And it's because you know what you have. You have greyhounds. And when you have greyhounds like what you have that can run the floor, finish at the bucket, that's going to defend, they play hard, they do all the little intangibles. How did you get the kids to buy into your style of play and your vision and what you wanted for this team?
Yeah, I think what most guys would want to play the way that we play. That we want to get up and down the floor. We want to press. We want an up tempo game. We want as many possessions as possible. I think a lot of kids would like that style, and I think we do get in the half court some and run sets, but so it wasn't real hard to get him to buy into that. Now it's funny, I think my dad coached in this area for a long, long time, and he was exactly the opposite. He was different, and I've had some people say my dad would roll over in his grave if he saw how we played, and and that might be true, but so the kids, it's been easy to coach that way because the guys want to play that way, and again, they've since I got here 3 years ago, the kids have bought into that right away. And again, if it wasn't the type of kid we had or the type of player or athlete we have, we wouldn't play it that way. But I think that best suits us, and it's been pretty good for us. I hope we obviously take some more steps this year, but I think it's been successful for us so far.
I tell you what, Coach, I think I love your style of play. I think it's very exciting. And I think that a lot of people like your style of play as well. Hey, talk about your freshman. Now, for those of them that don't know him, tell them about him and what makes him unique, because when I watched him yesterday, he didn't stop. He was continuously moving up and down that court, rebounding the basketball, going looking to score. And this is only the first game. He's only going to get better. Coach, talk about your freshman.
Well, he was certainly not scared of the moment. And, a kid that's 14 years old last year playing at Baldwin Road Junior High to, you know, 8 months later playing against Akron St. V's and the talent that they have and that kind of program, I don't want to say I worried about it, but, you're concerned. How is he going to react in that first time situation? And as you mentioned, I thought he was dynamite. I mean, he played hard. He competed. Their big kid was obviously taller and bigger than him, but I thought he continued to go right at him. Um, I thought he was as physical as he possibly could. So, as far as a first outing for Jordy, I was very impressed. You don't want to throw too many terms around about how good he could be, but when you see a kid like that that's never been in that type of situation compete the way he did, not back down to anybody, that's a pretty good sign. He's going to have a heck of a career.
Coach, I was very proud of him, and Jerry was very proud of him, and he's an all Ohio guy.
Yeah,
Coach, the last question I have for you is that your team is young. And sometimes when you have a young team like yours, which I've been telling people, hey, we just wait till next year. But let's talk about this year. They're
yeah.
young, they're exciting, they're people loved them yesterday. I got a phone call this morning, and all they could do was talk about Reynoldsburg. You guys probably, and I know for a fact you're not going to go up against another big like him for the rest of the year, like what they had in
Right.
the middle. He didn't score a lot of points, but his presence, just being 6'9" and big, made a difference in that middle. Um, how are you going to keep them motivated throughout this season, Coach?
I think the key for us, and we'll start talking about it on Monday, is, and I don't want to say it's easy, George, but when it's the first game of the year, it's a great environment. The place is packed. You're playing against Akron St. V's. I'm not saying it's easy to execute, but it's not too hard to get fired up and have a lot of energy and a lot of juice for that. The challenge now is, can you do it for 21 more games? And that's the motivation. And we talked to our guys before the game. If last night makes or breaks our season one way or another, we're in trouble. Because even if we win that game and that's the highlight of our season, that's not what our goals were. And on the other side, if we lose that game, if that takes the wind out of our sails for the rest of the year, that's not good either. So we just got to kind of take it one step at a time. I know that's a little coach speak, but the challenge now is, maybe when our gym's half full or a quarter full and we're not playing Akron St. V's and the environment's different, do they still compete that way? Do they still play hard no matter what it says on the front of the other team's jersey? It should always be about you and how you compete and how you execute. And with the young team, do you worry about that a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. But I think our kids have always shown the ability to work, play hard, compete again, other than last June a little bit. So, right now, that's not something we're too concerned about. These guys know that we're going to take it one day at a time, and they've done that so far. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. I hate saying that. Hopefully, it didn't jinx me.
Coach, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think that I don't even think you're going to have many times that you're going to play in half full gyms. But I think people are going to want to come out to see you guys, especially the Reynoldsburg fans. I think the Reynoldsburg fans love the way you coach, love the way you guys play, and I think that they're going to support you 100%. I know that I'm going to be watching you guys several times this year. Whereas though now this year I'm going to be out and about watching a lot of different teams, and you're one of the teams I'm going to watch. Coach, good luck on the rest of your season. Thanks for coming on the show. And you know that you're my guy. I wish you nothing but the best, Coach. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it, George. Look forward to seeing you again, and you'll always be on the pass list when you're coming to a game.
I appreciate that, Coach. Thank you very much. Hey, enjoy your day and get back in the gym with your son.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye. Hey, heck of a guy. And it's always a pleasure to talk with him. His team is very, very exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing them a few times this year. And if you get an opportunity, you need to go out and watch Reynoldsburg, the Reynoldsburg Raiders, because they've got a nice, entertaining, fast, hey, they're good. They're going to be really good. I don't want to put them way up here right now, but I loved what I saw, and I've only been doing this for 41 years, but so I don't know that much. But I do know when I watch them, they're pretty good, and they're going to be even better. So keep your eyes on them, because they'll be one of Central Ohio's best, and they're one of my top 10. And stay tuned as we look forward to Coach Johnson from Northland High School, who's about to come up. Thank you very much. Just a quick break.
Hello, I am Annie J. Ross Womack, the Executive Director of the Ohio Sickle Cell and Health Association, and I'm here to talk to the parents and student athletes about a very important topic. The NCAA has instituted different standards for all divisions of student athletes. Before you can play sports in any college or university, you must present a negative trait status or hemoglobin status documentation. Your hemoglobin status is taken at birth with the newborn screening. And what they do is they run your blood for any abnormality or any birth defect. There are thousands of newborn screening birth defects in this country. For more information about sickle cell disease, sickle cell trait testing, you can call our offices at 614-228-0157. Or you can visit us via web at ohiosicklecell.org.
Hey, welcome back. This next coach I've been knowing for quite a long time. He's a fan favorite here in Columbus, Ohio. He does a lot of things for the community. He also is the owner-operator of the Kingdom Summer League here in Columbus, Ohio, that a lot of people I know you know about. He is also the head coach of the Northland Vikings, and I think he's doing a great job, and I want to welcome Coach to the show. Coach, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm glad to have you on the show because he's a Hall of Famer, by the way, just got inducted here recently, didn't you, Coach?
Yeah, yep. Extreme honor, man. I went in with a great class, man. I was humbled by that.
That's good, but you do a lot of things in the community. The Kingdom Summer League, I'm sure that a lot of people know about. You've made a success. Sometimes when people start things out, they never know how big they're going to grow, but this has grown to be pretty big. Even though we're talking about high school basketball, what was your vision when you started out with the Kingdom Summer League?
Well, with the Kingdom League, I just wanted to unify our city with the game of basketball and just bring all the talent that we have in this city, and not only this city but this area and our state overall. Just bring it under one roof, man, and just have a great event for the community. And also, just to stand on the shoulders of the Worthington League, man. We used to have a great program, and we just wanted to recreate it and do our own thing, with our own twist.
Well, you've done a great job, and don't I know about the Worthington League? The Worthington League was around, and then we kind of, put it on different steps when back in the day when Jimmy Jackson was in there and the guys from Cincinnati was coming down and Harper and all them from Cleveland. It was one of the biggest pro summer leagues in the Midwest. Went down for a few years, but now I think the Kingdom Summer League is bringing it back and is so glad to do that. Let's talk about your team, Coach. What do you think of the All-Ohio Showcase that you played in yesterday and how your team played? I think they played very competitive. They played hard. And I think you got a nice nucleus there, Coach.
Yeah, well, first off, man, All Ohio Showcase was great as usual. It's been great for a number of years since I was playing in high school. You're gonna see the best talent in Ohio. I think we saw probably about 15 D1 guys, man. It was just, it was talent all over the place. In our game in particular, man, we played a real good Dayton Dunbar team. I think were ranked preseason number 4 in their division, and I see why. They play hard. They played together, man. Kids were tough as nails. We came out a little slower than usual, and I think that was the difference of the game. We had to dig ourselves up out of hole the whole game, but overall, I'm really impressed by the way my team responded. We had some adversity early on. We fought. We came up short, but it was a great lesson in it that I was able to relay to them in the locker room, and I think they understand, the standard and the standard that we're setting out for them, and we're gonna have a great season. I can guarantee that we're gonna have a real great season.
Coach, you guys are kind of young, I believe, correct?
Yeah. We are.
What do you do when you have a young team like you do, playing in a tough city league, to keep them motivated, to keep them going, and to have them buy into what you're trying to do as a team?
The motivation is always to win and to win big. And when you're at Northland, all you got to do is come in the gym. You know what I'm saying? There's so much history the last 20 years, all the things that Northland has accomplished as a school, as a program, the individuals that we've put out. So it's not you come in the gym. There's motivation in and of itself. And for us, the coaching staff that we have, all of us have been successful each step of our career, especially on the high school level. I got Mike Thornton with me, who's won a state championship, won city titles, one of the best coaches to ever come through Columbus, and then. Cyrus Smith, who was a first team All Ohio guy, just great IQ, has a extreme connection with the kids. So, for us, it's just about winning, winning every day. You know what I mean? In practice, in the classroom, coming prepared, giving your best effort, best attitude each and every day. So that's the standard, and we're never gonna lower the standard. And the kids are understanding what it takes to walk in that.
Talk about your young freshman. You have a young freshman named King that is pretty good, Coach. I think yesterday he finished with what, 20 points yesterday, I believe,
Yeah, yeah.
and a lot of people don't know about him. In AAU, he played for Nova Village. He didn't play on that circuit, played kind of locally. But I'm coming to find out that more people know about him than I thought. But a lot of the fans don't know about him. Can you talk about him and how special he is?
Yeah, I've seen basketball on a lot of different levels, man, high levels, and I try not to throw out that word special a lot, but I think this kid he has what it takes, man. I know he has what it takes, man. I get to see him behind the scenes. I have plenty of conversations with him. He
Did you
talks
see?
the game like he's a college friend, like he's in college. You know what I mean? He puts the work in. He loves it. Um, Gym rat, film. He studies film on his own. Um, and for him to have 20 in his debut is no surprise to me. And it's not no fluke. Like this kid is going to have a great career, and he's going to go on to do a lot of special things with the game of basketball. So we got high expectations for him, high standards set for him. I'm on him harder than almost anybody. You know what I mean? Because he did come in with some fanfare. So to just try to keep his head on straight and allow him to understand that you ain't did nothing yet, and it's a long journey. You're really good and you're advanced for your age, but it's a long, long journey and it's a lot of work to put in. So, but I'm excited to coach him, man. He's going to be one of the greats.
Well, he's got the right guy to really coach him and to really keep him humbled, even though he's a really nice kid, but he's got the right guy to show him that. Coach, talk about your team, talk about the City League North. What's it going to take for you guys to compete in the City League North, and talk about some of the other teams that you're going to have to go against?
First of all, man, I love my team, man. Guys are great kids. We have great kids from great families. They buy in, they listen, they work hard. We're going to continue to improve as the year goes on. I'm extremely excited about this year. We'll compete with anybody that we play against. And as far as the City League North, man, City League North has always been rough. It's always been rough. It's going to continue to be rough. Um, the talent has been down a little bit, but in terms of what you're gonna get night in, night out, it's gonna be a dogfight. It's gonna be a dogfight night in, night out. I expect. I think one of the sleeper teams that people may not know how good they can be is Mifflin. Mifflin played us really well last year. They return a lot of the guys. They just play hard. Um, and they're gonna come at you. I think International with the two big guys should be okay. They should be formidable. Linden, you can never count out. The coach over there has them really going and really playing hard. Centennial has a good mix, so it'll be a battle night in, night out. Beechcroft has championship pedigree, so it's up in the air. But I like our team, and I feel like we're gonna really do some good things this year.
Hey, I'll tell you what, one of the teams, I think they're in the City League North, that yesterday had a great come from behind victory, and Coach Williams has them playing well over at Centennial. So that may be another team
Yeah.
to keep your eye out for. Coach, I appreciate you coming on the show. And I look forward to seeing big things coming from Northland High School as you are in your second year, third year, Coach. Which one is it?
This is my second year.
Your second year. And
Yep.
I'm excited to watch what Northland is going to be bringing this year. But real quick before I leave, what can everybody look for in a Northland Viking team?
A Northland Viking team is always going to play hard, going to be competitive. We're going to be dogs. We're going to be disciplined. We're going to fight to the end, man. We're going to fight to the end. And my motto is find a way to win. So we're going to find a way to win at all costs.
Coach, thank you very much for coming on the show. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a lovely day. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me. And I wish you nothing but the best on your season.
Likewise, I appreciate you so much, man. Congratulations on this show and the success that's to come. And I thank you for having me.
Thank you, Coach. Talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one. All right.
That was Coach Johnson from Northland High School. And coming up, we've got Jake Spegal. I'm sure all of you know, one of the top video photographers in Columbus, Ohio with 270 Sports. He's everywhere, and he does it all. And he was at the All-Ohio Showcase yesterday, and we're going to come back and talk with him and to get his insight and his opinion on what he saw yesterday. This should be interesting. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. I have been so excited about this show, and to have the opportunity to work with Yamo Media is just unbelievable. The job that they do, the many things that they do here in Central Ohio, is just goes without saying. They are very, very good at what they do, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to be with them, and look forward to doing many, many more shows this season with many, many guests. But right now, I want to bring in one of the best at what he does with 270 Sports, Mr. Spegal. How you doing, man?
Good, George. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, I'm so excited to have you on. How long have you been doing what you're doing, and what made you get into this type of field?
Yeah, so I've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now. Started back when I was in high school. When I first started out, I was just kind of going to games, doing like live tweets, writing some articles, and then got a camera, kind of fell in love with doing the videos and photo work, stuff like that. And honestly, I got into it just because I was always into sports, always played sports growing up, always been a big sports fan. But at the same time, I always realized, I was never going to make sports my profession, playing wise. So I wanted to stay connected somehow, and that's kind of how I fell into it.
Well, I remember when you first started, man. I remember you first started coming around and doing what you do. And We always spoke and talked, and and now look at you. I mean, you're very well known here in Central Ohio, and maybe kind of throughout the state. And I think this is just the beginning of something special for you. I really do, because you've put everything into this, and you can see your work. You do great work, and I think you've earned the respect of all the peers. And I think even with the fans out there, they love to see your work. Even with the players, they know what you do. And I just want to say thank you for all you do. Thank you for coming to our events, showcasing our events. We really appreciate you as well. You were at the showcase yesterday. You watched some games. Did you get a chance to go over to the other location as well?
I didn't. I was only able to go to the Summit location earlier in the day. I was sadly watching my Buckeyes get beat by Michigan. But we had a couple of guys that I know who, a couple of different guys, scouts like TJ Petros. They kind of gave me the rundown of some of the games they watch at the other locations. So got to watch some games, got to hear about some games, and overall it was a really great day. Another great event put on by you guys at All Ohio.
Let's talk about a couple of games. There was one game in particular that I want you to talk about, this little freshman from Pickerington North. I thought he put on a show yesterday. I was so impressed and proud of him. J.R. Bates, what did you think about the performance that he put on against that team in his first game as a high school player?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. I thought JR had an incredible performance. Obviously, took home the MVP honors for Pick North. I think a lot of people, when they see him out there, it kind of, I don't know if you've ever seen the More Than a Game movie about LeBron's high school team, but whenever Drew Joyce was a freshman, everybody was like, who's this little guy out here? But he definitely, brings a lot to their team with his shooting ability, and he brings a lot of energy, something that I really like, and I think he'll be a good addition for them. It's good to have a freshman contribute like that, and I'm excited to see how he kind of fits into their system this year, because obviously he had it clicking yesterday and helped them pick up a big win.
Do you think that when these freshmen such as Jordy at Reynoldsburg, who I'm going to ask you about in a second, do you think when these freshmen are playing this early that it really helps them during the course of the season?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I think, just getting that experience on the varsity level, playing with guys on your team who have been on the varsity level, playing against guys who have been on the varsity level, obviously being the highest level of high school basketball, I think it really helps them develop, kind of helps them get in tune with things. I think, some kids, it'll take them a little while to get going, but I think just getting that experience playing on the highest level of high school basketball definitely will, help you as you progress through your freshman season and as you progress through your career, because I think, a lot of the top guys we've seen come through Columbus recently, a lot of them have always played varsity kind of since they stepped into high school. So I think it's definitely really important for their development.
The Reynoldsburg Raiders, that young team, and I just got done talking with Coach Andy Moore. They're exciting, man. I mean, they're a team that people like to watch, the way they get up and down that floor. It's a bunch of young Greyhounds. What do you think about Reynoldsburg?
I like Reynoldsburg a lot. I love Coach Moore. Like you said, you just had him on here. I think he's a really good coach, doing some great things over there. And also had the chance to watch them last Saturday. They had a foundation game against Moeller. I think they have a lot of really good young talent on that team. It'll be fun to watch them develop over the next couple of years. Obviously, Jordan Bowens, like you just mentioned, the freshman. They have a couple of sophomores, Jordan Fisher and Toby Mokolo. Then they have a junior who I really like, Noah Smith. I was really impressed with him last weekend against Moeller. So I think they'll be really fun to watch as they develop. They play with a lot of energy. They play up and down, and they're really well coached. So I think they could definitely turn some heads this year in Columbus. And, with a lot of those guys being young, I think they could be a team to watch, across the state over the next couple of years.
What do you think about Jordan Bowens?
I like Jordan a lot. Jordan was, he played in our fall league a couple years back in middle school. Obviously, I don't see as many middle school players as, I do high school, but he was one kid where I'd heard about him, before he stepped into high school, and that kind of, brought him onto my radar as, he's definitely going to be the real deal. And then he played at our freshman event earlier this fall. Obviously a great athlete, can get to the rim, is strong. And I was impressed last weekend when they played against Moeller, who's obviously a really well-coached team, with a lot of discipline. He just seemed to make good decisions, didn't try to force anything, and kind of fits into that system well and does a good job of playing his role.
I'm not going to hold you, but I do want to talk about this game. Last night, Donovan Hunter came back to Columbus, Ohio, and boy, did he play. I thought maybe he might come back and be a little nervous. I asked him before the game, I said, "You all right? You nervous?" He said, "No, I'm ready to go." And he came out and he played with such poise and confidence. What do you think about that performance from Donovan Hunter coming back to Columbus, playing in front of the hometown crowd?
I was really impressed with Donovan last night. I was, really glad to see that, that move to Spire seems to be really beneficial for him. Seems to be good for him, playing in a role on that team. Obviously, they've got, a handful of talented guys, a handful of, Division I prospects on that team. And I think he did a really good job of playing his role. He shot it really well, hit a couple shots off the dribble, hit a couple threes off the catch, and just think he really fits into their system well and kind of did a really good job of, not overdoing it, especially, coming back to Columbus. He could kind of fall into that mindset of, I need to come out here and put on a show, but he kind of, stayed within himself, took what the defense gave him. And, I thought he did a really good job of knocking down shots and contributed to his team picking up a really big win and a really impressive win to, kick off or end the event there last night.
Now, I'm going to bring you on the show periodically, and I always want you to keep it 100 with me. What did you think of the Pickerington Central Tigers last night that I think was a big disappointment in the way they played to not only myself, but to a lot of other people? What was your opinion of Pickerington Central yesterday?
Yeah, so obviously, a tough season opener for Pick Central going up against a team like Spire, one of the better teams, if not, the best team they'll face in the regular season this year. I think, the biggest thing for me was, they kind of looked a little, uninterested is the way that I would put it. The game didn't have much energy early on. Devin Royal had a big dunk to start the game, and then after that, it kind of got, there weren't many buckets after that in the first quarter. And I think, once they fell behind, it seemed like they maybe just lacked a little bit of energy. But, at the same time, I think that could be a good thing for them to, kind of come out and get punched in the mouth the first game, maybe to humble them a little bit and let them know that, you might be the defending state champs, but, this season everybody's going to be coming for you. And, they return a lot of talent, and I really like the coaching staff. So, I'm confident that they'll turn it around and bounce back from that. And like I said, think it could end up being a good thing for them, playing a team of that caliber in their first game and kind of coming out and realizing, okay, we're going to have to, really bring it every game this season.
And I agree with everything you said, but I think what people need to understand is this. You need to understand that this is not the same Pickerington team as it was last year. There's no Josh Harlan, who was great defensively, who pushed the ball and just played hard-nosed defense. There's no Sonny Styles. He was the leader on that team. Sonny set the tone each and every game. So when you lose two people like that, it does take a lot away from the team. Do you, Jake, think that this team can continue to go down that winning path and be there at the regional championship to play maybe Dublin Jerome, who I think is 1 or 2 right now in Central Ohio?
Yeah, absolutely. With the talent Pickerington Central has, I think, when you look at the other rosters in Central Ohio, there's definitely a few teams that can beat them, but I think Pick Central, they're still going to be that top dog until somebody from Columbus beats them. And I definitely think that they can turn it around just, based off, the roster that they have, the guys they have on that team. And I kind of was talking to one of my buddies this morning, and he mentioned, last year, early in the season, Pick Central opened up with a really good win over Bookdale. And then a couple weeks later, they, took that tough loss to Newark at home. And I think some people kind of questioned them at that point. But then, after that, it was, foot on the gas, ended up taking down Gahanna twice, took down Centerville, obviously, to win the state championship. So I definitely think they've got what it takes to turn it around. And it'll be helpful for them as well that, pretty much every night they step on the floor, they'll have the best guy out there in Devin Royal. And I think it's just a matter of, mixing in these new guys that didn't really play a role last year, kind of getting that chemistry back and figuring out what's going to work for them and what's not going to work, and how they're going to have to play differently from last year think some guys will have to step up and lead the team. Some guys will have to take control there. But overall, I definitely think they've got what it takes to, get back to that point. And I'm pretty confident that they will.
Well, you brought up a good point just now, and you talked about somebody's going to have to step up and lead that team. And that's what I believe, too, as well. Excuse me. But I believe that at the end of the day, Pick Central will be there. I think this loss was good for them because, sometime with a team like that, you still thinking state championship, and, everybody's talking about Pick Central. All the rankings you see right now, they're number one in the state. So I think this loss could have said, hey, let's come back down a little bit and let's go to work and get back to playing Pick Central Tiger basketball. Hey, I know we're going to see you around a lot this year, Jake. Are there any games coming up that you've looked at your schedule that you think everybody needs to look for?
I think definitely it's been talked about a lot, but the Ohio Play-by-Play Classic, December 17th, I think that's going to be, a big event for Columbus. Matchups, obviously, Pick Central taking on Centerville. Got some really other matchups there. I think Olentangy Orange is playing Cleveland Heights. That'll be a really good one. Afrocentric taking on St. Ignatius. I think St. Ignatius will be one of the better teams, in Division I this year. So I think those are some really good matchups there. Other than that, this Tuesday I'll be watching Olentangy Orange against St. Charles. Olentangy Orange, I think a lot of people think, including myself, they've got the roster to be one of the better teams in Columbus this season. But St. Charles just picked up a big win on Friday against Cincinnati Moeller, who's a really talented team. And they got the big fella, my man Chase Walker, on the interior. He's really tough to stop for anybody, especially teams, who don't have a true big. Excited to watch that one. And then coming up this Friday, I'm interested to see how Pick Central bounces back as they take on Newark at Newark. Really tough place to play. And then obviously Newark has, one of the best coaches to do it in Ohio, and Jeff Quackenbush. So excited to see how that one plays out. Obviously, I'd say Pick Central has the talent advantage there, but I think that's always a really competitive game. So I'm interested to see how that one goes.
I want to be there next weekend at those games, but me and my wife are taking a break and we're going out of town. But I will tell you, the following Tuesday is the big one. The real big one is Olentangy Orange at Dublin Jerome. And I will be there for that one, as those are two high, number 2 and number 3 in Coach Howard's top 10, and I will be there. Hey, thanks a lot, Jake, for coming on, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Thanks, George. Appreciate you having me on. Looking forward to it.
All right. Take care, man. Enjoy your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Hey, we're going to have different guests on throughout the season. And, we're going to keep the shows going. We're going to talk high school basketball. We're going to talk about the big games coming up. And all your big games are going to be coming up here in the next couple of weeks. You're still in holiday season form. But as Jake said, the big one coming up with St. Charles, that's going to be pretty good. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I look forward to coming back next Sunday at 6 p.m. and talk about high school sports. And at that time, I will have some really good special guests. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day. Have a good week. God bless you. And I love you all. Bye-bye.